research, I realized that these constellations and these tarot cards were intimately connected. And I could not understand how and why. So in understanding how and why tarot and astrology are deeply connected will be the subject of these videos over the next coming weeks. The first stop is the Aries Emperor archetype. And this is how we discover how to overcome our challenges. This is how we discover our internal hero. And this is how we discover the energy within that allows us to overcome all challenges, because we all realize that we have challenges, but then we don't understand the right mindset to have in dealing with our challenges. So if we want to fully understand how to overcome whatever issues we're faced with, we can find it in dealing with the Aries/Emperor archetype. Let's first start with archetypes. An archetype is from the Greek word archetupon, which means the first molded. Now, from the Greek, this leads us to the psychologist Carl Jung that claimed that within us all, we have a fixed number of models that we all can share, and we haven't necessarily been taught them. When you were in school, and the leader and the clown and the damsel in distress and the magician, none of these things were particularly taught. We just seem to really thrive in those particular roles, and the roles that we have in society that we thrive that aren't taught are known to be archetypes. But the thing about archetypes is just because we haven't been taught does not mean that we cannot be taught them. The idea is to fully understand the constellations and the astrology as a whole, because within each astrological sign there is a gift. And with each gift we could utilize as human beings. We don't have to be fixated on a particular constellation based upon the inundation of conversations surrounding the subject of astrology. Oh, you're an Aries. Oh, you're a Taurus. Oh, you're a that. Oh, you're a this. And if I'm a this or a that, then I can't do this and that, because that's not what Aries do. Well, we're not conversating on that level. We're talking about our primal instincts that are found in the concept of archetypes. Now, throughout these videos, we'll be explaining a lot of information that has been there, but hasn't been brought to the surface. So allow this information to be brought to the surface. The constellation Aries is Latin for ram, and it is the first astrological sign, which is interesting because, as we know, within a circle, there is no beginning, there is no end. So why did the ancient people look at Aries as the first astrological sign? Aries is also a fire sign, indicating enthusiasm, expression, and a trust in your spiritual journey. There has to be faith in your movement. There has to be enthusiasm, a realization that God is within you. Enthusiasm is taken from the Greek word entheos, which simply means that God is within you. So realizing that God is within you is the primary first sign that one needs to begin this spiritual journey and to express this truth, express this connection from the soul, from the depths, and be able to verbalize it or symbolize it through your art is the first step to understanding it. And this is why they say that Aries is the first astrological sign. Aries is a cardinal sign, which means there's not much waving or maneuverability to it. There's not much mutual understanding. It is the way that it wants to be. It is our force of action. It is our force of initiative. What I mean is, so if you are down bad and you take the initiative to better your life, you would never expect or even tolerate or accept a person saying, hey, you shouldn't be bettering your life right now. You should really be dumbing your shit down. So the planet that rules Aries is Mars. And the interesting thing about Mars, when you flip it backwards, you get RAM, which is ram. And Aries just simply means ram in Latin. Mars is the Roman name for Aries, not to be confused with the constellation Aries, Aries, but the Roman deity Ares, which is the Greek god of war. Now, although they have different mythologies, they all speak to the same energy. And this is the archetypal image of the warrior, leader, hero, or emperor. The emperor is the fifth card in the deck, but although is marked by the number 4. This card symbolizes leadership, responsibility, self-control, discipline, and focus. The emperor has an outward mode. Tarot cards have different modes, mainly outward and inward. The emperor's outward mode is representing through activating, initiating, creating, expressing, showing you something that you never seen before, going into new worlds, expressing yourself, creating new things, initiating new things, activating things. This is all emperor energy. This is all Aries energy. And this is all archetypal energy that we have within that's easily activated if we understand how. So let's talk about how. In understanding archetypes, we understand that this one is representing our internal hero. It is representing our ability to initiate things. So within this energy, this allows us to overcome challenges. And the reason or the way how we activate it is through courage. When it comes to our life, whether it comes to starting a new web page, starting a new business, starting a new relationship, going to a new gym, or doing the same thing, it doesn't matter if it's new or old. The mere fact that we're initiating something in our life is our greatest gift. Now understand that like whatever you want to create in this life has to be initiated. And without that, we would just simply be slaves to a particular energy that rules over us. And this is an emperor. So the Aries emperor archetype could be externalized or it could be internalized. So back to how we activate this energy, we activate it through courage. Now, courage comes from the root word core, which means heart, center, or core. So our heart, our center, our core is our courage, our ability to operate from our heart, the ability to operate from our center, the ability to operate from our core. So this is the primary archetype. So the main thing about this archetype is how it looks at challenges, because we all realize that we have challenges. Well, the Aries Emperor archetype sees life as a challenge that it can ultimately overcome. It doesn't look at it like, oh my God, I got to go through these challenges. No, it looks at it like, yes, another challenge. Let's knock it out. You understand? Let's take over. Let's be in charge. And so if we look at our challenges and we look at them as defeating principles, then we'll never initiate or even try to fight against it. But if we look at it as positive ways to manifest positive things in our lives, then we'll look at our challenges gleefully and joyfully. Okay, so like Aries, the Emperor reminds us that anything worth having for real is worth fighting for. Now, a lot of things in our life, we feel like we don't have to fight for them and things of that nature. But when it comes to something that you truly want, something that you truly desire, then this is all related to that Aries Emperor. Whenever we utilize courage, and so we can understand how much of this Aries Emperor archetype is activated within us based upon our ability to deal with our challenges. Okay, are we happy to deal with them or are we sad? To finish this off, to bring this connection, as we said, Aries is Latin for ram. But within history, there is something that is called the hippocampus. And the hippocampus is involved in formation of new memories, all right? It is the way that we initiate new memories, and it is associated with learning and emotions. The hippocampus is also called Ammon's horn. Now, the Greek form of the name was Ammon, and the Libyan Jupiter, whom the Greeks identified with, is Zeus. So Aries' representation as a ram is identified with the Egyptian god Ammon. So we have a deity called Ammon Zeus. So Zeus Ammon is actually the ram. It is actually Aries, but it's actually a part of our temporal lobe as well. So if we didn't have this function in our brain, these connections would have never been established. In order to explain these connections, we are understanding how we could talk to God. Quite simply, Ammon from Egypt is the hidden one. He is the king of the gods. He is the Lord of thrones, of the visible and invisible worlds. Now another word for that would be emperor. Ammon is the creator god who is the mysterious soul of the universe that reveals itself in light. Ammon is the light, creator, builder, and grand architect of the house and temple and body. And this is the hippocampus, okay? The hippocampus creates our reality by giving us new memories, by dealing with our learning and our emotions. So, in understanding this, to really summarize this, Aries, the emperor, as an archetype, is found in your hippocampus, your ability to create new memories, to learn new things, and to process your emotions. When we have challenges and we have difficulties, we could deal with this part of the human body, which is connected to the celestials, found in the constellation Aries. But we could also utilize the lessons of the Emperor Tarot card. Maybe it's time to be more disciplined. Maybe it's time to be more focused. Maybe it's time to utilize more self-control. Utilize a leadership role, be more responsible when it comes to our lives. All of these things help us understand ourselves and figuring out who we are as we deal with the archetypes in astrology, Aries and the Emperor. Go ahead and slap a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notifications bell, and share this because you don't know who can help. Shout out to all the Aries out there. Shout out to all the Emperors. Make sure you drop a comment on this video. Let me know what you thought. Stay tuned. I'm going to be dropping these videos back to back and go through this whole cycle so we can get a full understanding of the archetypes and astrology as a whole. Then we'll come back and talk about it later. Peace.